So imagine this. You've been in the business for a little over a year, and last year you sold 17 homes. This year already sold 12 homes, and you have 20 escrows open. What would that look like for you and your family? Well, we got that today with Mr. Eddie Centeno. You know I was going to say Eduardo, bro.
I already knew it.
Yeah, because Eduardo, Roberto, it's crazy. Our last names kind of sound the same.
Last names? Yeah.
Yeah.
Centeno.
Yeah, Centeno. You almost forgot it a little bit, but it's all good. No, but this guy's an absolute killer, guys. He just joined the team a couple of months ago, but he's been part of the family for a little over a year now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we always talk about that I was your first deal.
You were my first deal.
Which is crazy. So quick little just backstory, right? We talked about like having the 20 escrows open. It was 17. He just opened up another 3 in the last like 3 days. So which got him over that 20 mark, which is insane to me because I've never had more than 10 escrows open, and I've been doing this for 6 years now. So
when you put it like that.
Yeah, about a year and a half into the business, right?
Right, yeah.
So a little bit about how you came in, man, what you did before, and then what's working for you now, man.
Man, yeah, so I came in, I started with a really small brokerage, about 5 people, kind of realized that wasn't for me. Went to a bigger brokerage, Keller Williams, which I did learn a lot right there, but the problem is that there's just so much old school tactics, right? And here's the thing, the tactics do work, right? But you have social media, right? You have the reach. It's so much bigger now, right? So if we're talking about, whether it's door knocking, cold calling, or doing mailers, this is what I always tell people. Look, cold calling, you usually pick an area, right? Well, a lot of my clients are coming from LA right now. I've never would have picked an area to cold call in any city in LA, right? I would have never door knocked any cities in LA. I would have never done open house or done mailers in those areas, right? But I have so many clients coming from the LA area, and how am I getting that reach? How am I getting them? It's social media. It's the only way that this is able to happen. The fact that I have 20 escrows, I mean, even just to say that out loud right now, it really does sound crazy.
That's insane.
It is insane. Like I tell other people and they're like, you're full of it. Show me. And I'm like, all right. And I'll prove it to them,
Yeah.
But it is nuts to say that because the average realtor does, 3 to 5?
3, yeah, about 3 deals a year.
Yeah, about 3 deals a year, right? So it's just wild to be able to do that. And it comes from the team, what we do, the stuff that we provide, the value that we provide you guys. It's just wild. It really is.
Yeah, and it's not like he's been doing this for a long time. So that's like, the point that we want to get across. We decided to do these type of videos because we want to provide value and true value, and he's literally living it out, right? He got into the business, like we said, about maybe like 18 months ago or so. Right. It wasn't a hot start, right? Like we talk about the hot start. Like you probably didn't get much done for first 6 months or so?
Yeah, no, they say it's like a fire hose just coming at you, right? It really is like that because they're just trying to door knock, cold call, walk around, hand out flyers, create stuff, and it's like, why is just so much?
Well, no, the one that I like, bro, is hand out your business cards to 25 people. It's like, what? Nobody's even ever called me from handing out a business card. Oh, you do real estate? Yeah, here's my business card. You idiot, that person's never going to call you.
No. And even the mailers, right? So now here's the thing, you actually are spending money on that, right? Creating the postcard, paying somebody to create it, and then paying for the postcards, and then mailing them out, right? And then I just saw they just did an increase on it, right? So now you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, not hundred thousands, but hundreds every month.
Some people might
you're right. Yeah.
A year, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I asked somebody the other day, they got a listing from a farm, right? So it's a farm, basically it's a neighborhood, and they do it year after year after year. He got one listing, and I said, hey, how long have you been farming, sending out mailers to that neighborhood? 5 years. I was like, all right, so did you break even? He's like, no, I don't even think I broke even, man.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And so like the reach, what we do on social media, and that's the reason we have you, because you're like 100% bought in. Like,
100%. Here.
Go ahead.
Go,
yeah. Say it.
Okay.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
So if I ever have to go back to doing open houses, Open houses are actually okay. But if I ever had to go back to cold calling and door knocking, I probably wouldn't be a realtor.
You want to call expireds?
No. I probably would honestly go do something else. I wouldn't go back to it. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been since I got out the Navy. I'll figure it out. I'll start another business. You know, this is my third one. I still have two other ones. I won't go back to it.
Yeah. So a little bit about your background, man. Like, what kind of led you to real estate?
So when I first got out of the military, bought my first rental property, bought my second rental property, bought my dream home. Just always have kind of liked the real estate aspect of everything. You know, my parents are into real estate. They bought rentals. So I just know the financial freedom that it gives you and the generational wealth that it gives you as well. So that's how I got into it. No, but the biggest thing was I did computer, iPad, iPhone repair. Had a really good run about 9-10 years. And I still actually have that. I have school accounts, school districts that I do. I don't do it myself personally. I have employees that do it for me. But I've always liked real estate, and I think that's why I do so well, is that I need it, but I don't. And I enjoy it, right? Like, I really enjoy helping people reach that milestone of getting into a home, getting into their dream home. It brings joy to me. Like, I know a lot of people say that, but I'm in a position where I can genuinely say, like, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first met Eddie, I was like, this guy's a sucker. Like he reached out to me on Instagram. I really didn't think that, but like he reached out to me on Instagram. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll tell him what to do. And I was like, I'm just an open book. And that's how I've always been. Right?
For sure.
Like I'll tell you, because I know, and I know I've said this before, but like majority of the people are probably not going to do what I do to get business.
No.
And Eddie was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll 100%. Do it. Yeah. And so, we got him over a client, helped him out in Moreno Valley. And it's just like, all he needed was that first elusive one. And sometimes if you're an agent right now and you're like, man, I've been grinding out, that first elusive one it's like almost opening up the floodgates, right? Because he went from doing that one like in March, and then he finished off with 17 at the end of the year.
17 at the end of the year.
And majority came from open houses, right?
Open houses,
yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Everything else I tried, it didn't stick. It was open houses.
Yeah.
But remember too, it was also a very hot market.
It was.
I mean, it was pretty good for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like what trips me out now is that we're in a difficult market. And I know that it's difficult because now I'm more into data. I'm more data driven. So I like listen to certain individuals that put data information out there, because I hate people thinking this is what I think is going to happen. No, listen to the data, the numbers. That's what's really going to tell you, right? So I'm more about that these days. But I talk to agents and I know they're having a hard time. They're struggling out there. Why? Because I have team leaders reaching out to me. I have people that have been in the business 15, 20 years reaching out to me. How the heck do you have so many escrows open in a time right now when they don't even have anything?
Yeah, and it all came from one. I mean, we know Eddie works hard. Like that
for sure.
That's going to be number one.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Hey, and like you said, hey, I'm going to figure it out no matter what. And this is the mentality behind, in real estate. A lot of it is mentality.
Absolutely.
Like if you think that it's a bad market, it's going to be a bad market.
Right.
If you think that you're going to be successful in this market and you actually work at it and not just say it, you're going to be successful in this market.
It was like in the Navy, right? In the military, they always told us, it's what you make of it.
That's it.
It sucked. Being deployed, being out there without family, it was what you made of it. So a lot of it is a mindset, right? But I feel for me, a lot of it is mindset, but then you get a point where you're like, all right, I'm locked in. Mindset, I'm good to go, Now I need to figure out this part of it, the business part of it. What's going to be different? And what's different? It's the social media, guys.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you want everybody, when you get into this business, you're looking for that silver ticket or the golden ticket or the silver bullet, right? This is it.
This is literally it. Yeah. And now he enjoys it. Like, being on video. I tell my wife, like, we go out and I'm telling Krista, I'm like, man, like Eddie loves like just being out there creating content with us. And it's like, it's our job.
So here's the other thing, right? Is that I get excited. You kind of tell right now when we're out there and we're doing it. I think I'm going to create something. I'm going to put it out there. People call us. Then I'm going to, have a 15-minute conversation with them, take them out to a community, get them into escrow. And it all started from doing that content, right? And it's like, man, I get paid to do this. I love it.
Yeah. You get to see yourself on video.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
I'm
amazing.
not no actor, you know. I'm not a good-looking dude, but when you get into it and you do it over and over, right? Everybody always says, "Man, I can't get in front of the camera. I don't talk good. I still stutter on here, right?" But once you do it over and over, it's like anything else. You start getting good. Like Robert, stud, right? I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth, comes out perfect, right? We're all going to get to that point, so you can get to that point as well.
So let's actually talk a little bit about that, right? Because when we first started talking, I would always encourage people. Yes, the home tours are great. Yes, showing like what community you're at, it's great. But majority of the business comes from us providing value to people.
100%.
Right? So providing value. So getting in front of that camera, I know a lot of agents are probably struggling with that right now. Like, hey, I just can't sit there because my mind's running. I don't know what the other people are going to think about me. And what I always think is like, hey, it might be bad right now, but what is my content going to look like in 2 years?
For sure.
Right? What is my content? For me, it's been 5 years that I've been going really hard on content. So yeah, he said that I'm flawless, and you've done it before, right? When you're like, oh, Robert messes up too.
Oh, I get excited when you mess up. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, we're like at a community, and you're like, oh, I'm like, all right, do it over.
Cool.
Yeah. So talk about a little bit about that process. Like, what is it getting over that fear, or like, what did that look like for you?
All right, so this is gonna be one for just straight for the agents, right?
Yeah.
Look, when you start cashing checks, the fat checks, and it came 100% because they booked that 15-minute call, or they said, hey, I found you on Instagram. That's it, guys. You're not gonna care no more.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You won't care no more.
Yeah. And then, we're not like, I hate this word, but like, we're not like douchey, on video.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I think we're regular folk.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way we dress. You know how many people tell me, man, I like that you're not suited and with the high pants and all that. You're in jeans. You're like me, for sure.
So, and it does take a while, right? Like, it took a while. Like, talk about the takes that, it took. Like, hey, sometimes you're sitting there doing multiple takes, and it's just practice.
And so, look, and one thing, the clients that really convert, that are a lot better, they come from the talking videos. It's not from the home tours. So I knew that was a thing, because once I started getting a couple people from that, and it was from the content that I created talking to them, that's when I was like, okay, I have to focus in more on this. But I can show you my stories, not my stories, but on my camera roll. My camera roll, it would be like 15, 20 shots. But here's the thing. Now, you look at my camera roll, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And it's like usually 1 or 2 shots. I'm not saying I'm good, but I've gotten it down, right? Where it's like, 2 to 3 shots.
Yeah.
And so it took time.
Yeah, and it does take time, right? But now he's pretty locked in, and even myself, I'm like sometimes impressed, because like I look at his video and he doesn't chop it. It's like almost like he did it one full video, and I was like, bro, how'd you do that? Because even for myself, right? Yeah. So, if you're an agent right now and you're like, man, like I stutter, so do I. I grew up stuttering. I don't know how to spell some words. I don't know how to say certain words. Right? I struggle with this stuff. But one of the easiest things that I learned how to do is just continue to push through the video. Right. So pushing through the video, what does that look like, right? I sit down, I record, like, hey guys, and that's another thing. Don't start with hey guys, like I do. But like, we're talking about whatever it may be, first time home buyer, right? Credit scores, right? I go into it and I'm like, and I pause and I'm like, what was I gonna say next? And then I go into it. Yeah. And then I pause and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna say next? Boom. And then I go into it, right? So now I might have this like minute and a half video, but if I chop it where I take out all the ums and parts where I'm pausing, now I have a clean video. Nobody's gonna care if it's just skipping, right? Because it's direct here, right?
So that's what I started doing too. After you told me that, you're like, just keep going. And when you told me that, I was like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, okay, I'll just stop. Like, let's say it's right now. I'd be like, okay,
yeah,
all right, and then go back into it.
Yeah, that's literally the easiest thing to do.
Look, nobody's gonna know if you have 3 to 4 to even 5 quick breaks where in the video where you put them together. Nobody picks up on that.
Nope.
You're the only one that's gonna notice it. Because I would be there like, and then I would show it to my wife or family members or whatever, and they're like, cool. And I'm like, all right, did you notice where I stopped it? And they're like, no, I don't know.
Only you notice.
Yeah, only you notice.
Only you notice. So, did you have fear going into like creating those videos at all?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm like everybody else. Like, oh man, on camera, what are people gonna think of me? And I'm sure, you know, you're gonna have haters, right? You're gonna have people that are like, man, this guy doesn't sound good, or what's he talking about? Well, actually, I do try to do research and know what I'm talking about. So if you know what you're talking about, you're gonna have haters, and they're gonna be more about the way you look or the way you sound. But if your content is good, your content is good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because in all reality, if I think about it, if I were to go back, and it's usually when I say something that's a little bit crazy that I'll get some like lashback on,
Right.
right? Like I did that one in Spanish, and they're like, man, the no sabo kid,
Yeah.
you know, so something like that, I get that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the type of content that we're producing, like you get more like great video,
For sure.
great information, you know, good stuff, fire emojis, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get too much of the, oh yeah, no, this guy's full of crap. Like unless they see that you're full of crap, then maybe you'll get it. There's some trolls on there, but for the most part, not that many people are actually gonna see your video.
And then
at the
remember,
beginning.
there's only so much that we can talk about, right? And we're all going to kind of talk about the same things that you can, or content you can create, right? So do it for yourself. You're going to have your own followers, right? Like Robert has 37,000 followers, right? People are going to see him, people are going to flock to him. So you're able to have your own, you have your own page, right? Your own followers, people that are going to like you. The best thing I can tell you is that, look, when they reach out to you and they call you, they've already made up their mind 100%. You're their realtor. They're not going to go with anybody else. That's probably the most powerful thing about social media is they hear you talk, they hear how you are. You go to like if I go to a listing, it's me. Whether I sell them or I upgrade them to a brand new house because I can turn it into a rental in this market. There's nobody else. It's not, oh, let me interview 3 to 4 realtors. It doesn't work that way when you're on these platforms.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's really good information because, I mean, you're there to give value, and if you give enough value, people are like, "Yep, that's the guy.
That's it.
That's the person."
Like, look at new construction. I am a new construction specialist, expert. I know that stuff.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I even call him Ed. A question on this, bro. Jeff, I got a question
For
on
sure.
this because they're doing it daily, right?
And that's what makes us upset when people want, like realtors, you guys want to call us or you want to take your client out there or clients call us and offer my realtor. I work hard for that stuff. That's time away from my family. I'm on the clock. I'm out there building those relationships because more than anything, it's the relationships that we build with those sales reps. That's
Yep.
how we make things happen, how we're able to push clients, how we're able to squeeze more money out of these builders. It's because of the sales reps there and the relationships. So yeah, guys, go out there and do your own legwork. Figure it out on your own. Don't call me asking me for videos and stuff like that. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, good. So kind of going back to the social media aspect, right? People are like, when do I post? How often do I post? What type of videos? So just maybe something that can be quick and just say, hey, yeah, this is what I do and this works for me when it comes to posting content.
I do it around 11, either like 10:45 or 11 o'clock. Robert has us like, hey, you guys got to post on the daily. You know, I do miss days. I'm not, not perfect. We're not going to post all the time like Robert does. But ideally, it's every single day, at least a tour video. And then creating more of the content video of you being in the video. Like Robert's always in it. That's why people just know him. That's honestly more important. The reason why I want to do this more is you need to put your face out there. People recognize you.
Yeah, and then we go places like, it's crazy to get noticed at Disneyland, right? I go to Disneyland, they're like, Robert. I'm like I was on Small World one time. They're like, hey, Robert, and I'm like,
I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
but the other day, like at that community, we were walking, and then they were like, "Oh, we've seen you guys on YouTube."
Yeah, you're like the Navy guy.
Yeah.
Oh yes, at Atwell, and and then they also
Yeah.
hit you with the Navy guy. You're like, yeah, and
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I see you on YouTube, and
Yeah.
so you it's not that you want to be a celebrity because that's not why you do it.
No.
But it feels good that you know that the work you're putting into is actually
Right.
working and people are noticing you. And so when you want to be top of mind, as a realtor, we always talk about being top of mind. Why do people do the flyers? Why do people do open houses? Why do people have the signs? Why do people have the billboards up, right? It's all about being top of mind because when somebody's going to make a move, you want it to be like, hey, I called you because all I see is you.
And I've been told that, like in the very beginning stages, that's what it was. I was like, why'd you choose me? You know, I'm newer. Oh, I don't know. You were just always in my face.
Yeah.
I was in people's faces all the time. So old school tactics, what do they tell you? It's all about being top of mind, right? Well, I'm top of mind for free. I'm not doing mailers. I mean, open houses, you can't really be top of mind unless they're shopping over and over for a couple months, you know. But this is you're in their face every single day. And what's the number one thing people do every single day? Scroll.
Yep. Every day.
And then I want to touch on YouTube. YouTube is big now too, right? I feel like I see my brother, right? He's a financial advisor. That guy doesn't go on Instagram or Facebook. You know, he has a different type of mentality, right? But he's always on YouTube. So those type of clients, right? The wealthier clients, they're on YouTube. They don't really watch TV, but they'll go on there. You know, they kind of want to listen to different, you know, like I guess their TV is kind of more on YouTube. So basically things are changing. Things are switching. People are more on YouTube. That's why we try to create more YouTube content. You got to follow it. I mean, it's going to come a point where the mail is not going to be there anymore.
Yeah, or you can't call people.
I mean, look how already difficult it's is.
So hard.
Come on, cold calling. You don't even like to be cold called. So why are you cold calling people?
Right? People come to your door.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. And everybody's saying, oh, well, da. All right, cool. Go do it.
Yeah, and there's people, so don't get us wrong, right? There's people who are really successful door knocking. There's people who are really successful who do mailers. There's people who are really successful that cold call. But I'm not willing to put in that type of sweat equity anymore.
I just don't want to, man. I don't want to be out there sweating.
Yeah.
Walking around, getting, dogs barking and people flipping me off, and I'm good.
Yeah, and then you got to find what you're good at, right? So as a realtor, you're always like, hey, what am I gonna enjoy? What am I good at? So I knocked over 1,000 doors in South Almani, right? I was like, boom, I'm gonna knock my whole city. I got 2 sales out of it.
Yeah.
But I was out there for hours daily.
So open houses. They used to call me the open house king, right? Because I had nice flags, I had nice flyers and everything. But man, it was tiring. Like, I'd wake up early, go put out, 30 plus signs, because that's what they said. Put those signs out, almost getting ran over by cars and whatnot, and then sitting there for 4 hours. Like I enjoyed it, but then nothing really came of it. Like I sold some of those houses because the way the market was, right? It was so hot. So it was like, oh, you're the listing agent. Like, let me, buy through you, those type of things. But then when the market started shifting, I kept doing those open houses and there was no results.
Yeah.
People were coming in, and they were coming in with their realtors because now they have to work, right? It's not like they have a bunch of buyers. It got tight. They have a bunch of buyers that they can send out, and here's my business card, give it to the whoever's there. It got different. So I was like, I'm spinning my wheels a lot, and I'm getting no return, right? And I know that's a lot of realtors right now, man. And then when I got with Robert, and then my mentality switched, and I went 100% on this, it just completely changed. And then that's why I just bought 100% into it. And now, 20 escrows in.
20 escrows, and we're only at half of the year. So he's already closed 12 this year, 20 open. So you're, at minimum, going to have like at least, even if 5 of those fall off, which they probably won't. But if they do, you're going to be at 27 on your second full year of production. Yeah. Bro, that's insane. Right. And
that's not even all the clients that I'm working with right now, that I can't get to, wait list. My goal was to hit 20. Yeah, man, we should probably do, I'll still keep us low. I'll say 30.
Yeah, we're going to be 50. We're going to hit 50. Right. I keep telling them 50. So just to kind of wrap things up, let's say you're an agent right now and you're like, man, Eddie, I know you're doing well, man, but I just don't know where to start. I got to do something. I got to feed my family, right?
For sure. And I get those calls.
And, I don't want to be one of those agents that leaves the industry because I couldn't make it. What would you tell them right now?
You can try the social media part of it, guys. It's free. All it takes is for you we have super nice cameras. I do with an iPhone. Do some videos, do good content, good value, right? Talk about scenarios that are happening right now. Be that knowledge broker. You hear that, right? Be that knowledge broker. Try this. Try it on your own. If you don't succeed, then come join the team. We're here because this is all we do. We are a social media team. We don't do anything else. So you bounce ideas off of us. We help you out with the process, how to make this happen, how to be a little cleaner about it. Come join. Don't struggle. You're struggling because you want to.
Yeah. And I think, something you said there, right? About knowledge brokers, okay, Eddie, I want to be the knowledge broker, but I don't know what to say, right? I don't know what to do. How do I get that information?
So I follow Stephen Thomas. So there's, like I said earlier, there's certain people that I follow. You get all their information and you take little, nuggets, how they say in this industry, nuggets, and then you create a video of that. So you create a 1 minute video. Like the one I got a lot of was how interest rates are, right? How we're a 4 or a 5, 4, 3%. That's stuff people want to know about, right? They're interested, like, oh man, that many people have interest rates that low, which is why you're in the market that you're in and you can't get any listings. So talk about that, right? Then you switch that to buyers, like, hey, if you're a buyer, let's go over here. Let's lock in new construction. There's a lot of stuff, and being a part of the team, you're gonna learn how to put that to work for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And another tactic that I like to do is go onto our page, right?
Yeah.
Go onto our page and see what we're doing, and then just spin it in your own way, right?
Yeah. So my wife told me, because there was a lot of people that I was helping out, my wife said, don't help people anymore, or you're just wasting your time.
As far as realtors.
Well, yeah, as far as realtors. Yeah, she was like, stop helping them. They're not even going to go do it, So you can start with, go look at our stuff.
That's it.
How we're doing it. And then once you feel, here's, like, I used to follow Robert, and I would take his stuff, and I was like, man, this guy's just on a whole nother level, right? My wife was like, reach out to him. I'm like, nah, that guy looks like a Yahoo. He's wearing Nikes and he's got a mullet. I was like, no way. But I was like, okay, I've kind of plateaued, right? It's like at the gym, right? And then you got to hire a trainer. And it was like, all right, I got to go be a part of this guy's team. That's where I'm going to learn. And yeah, like these escrows I have, everything else is being on the team. It's made a huge difference.
Yeah. Plus, he works really, really hard, and he knows his stuff. So, yeah, man. I think we hopefully you guys got some good information out of what we're saying today. The whole key is doing it consistently is going to be the biggest thing, right? Getting over your fear of getting in front of the camera. Because I know that's what a lot of people struggle with. What am I going to say? Like, we're doing this video right now, and it's not like we had it all scripted out. It's like, hey, Eddie, we're going to have a conversation. Pretend you're having a conversation with somebody. Get your wife on the other side of the camera and say, okay, but I'm going to tell you how I helped the Jones family purchase their first home. And then you tell her a story, and then you go in and you're like, okay, I like this part. I'm going to cut it. I go to InShot. I'm going to cut this part. I'm going to cut this part. Now I put 3 or 4 parts together, and it makes sense. Oh, 100%. Shoot. You got yourself a video. Or maybe you can get 5 videos off that 5-minute conversation with your wife on, hey, I helped the Jones family, right? They were looking for a home in the city of Fontana, and they kept getting beat out. So what did I do? I went out there and I filmed a video, and I sent it to the listing agent. I said, hey, I have a client, right? Husband and wife, they're about to have a baby. They would love to be in this house, right? Strong offer. I go over the offer details a little bit. Boom. I send them the video, which nobody's doing, and I do it. So, and I get them in.
Yeah.
And now they're like, somebody hears that, is like, oh man, he helped the Jones family get in there, and this is how he did it. Well, I've been looking for 3 months, and my realtor's been, I want to go work with that person.
Absolutely.
And that's it, guys. So be consistent. Eddie, any final words, man?
So when you guys are, the way I look at it is, if you're a knowledge broker, if you do know your stuff and you're having a conversation with your client, like when you're out showing homes, pretend the camera is the client. Don't treat it so much as a client where you get caught up.
Stop.